Welcome to the Sunday History Rewind. I'm your host, Jim Lumley. Today I want to show you three really awesome video clips. The first one is from the History Channel. It's only about 4 minutes long. The second video is Morgan Freeman, who's a great American, an actor and writer. He's interviewing a historian from Philadelphia. That's about 2 minutes. And then finally, we're going to wrap up with a performance by Ray Charles, America the Beautiful. So let's enjoy this first video together on the history of the Declaration of Independence.
The Declaration of Independence, for me, is one of the best pieces of writing I've ever seen.
It's a revolutionary document for a revolutionary statement.
You cannot help but be stirred when you read those words.
Thomas Jefferson's writing is absolutely magnificent. And when he wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." That was the first time anybody had bothered to write that down.
And then you turn the clock back and think of when he was writing, how young he was, what a statement it was given the history of the world at that point. And you feel the excitement of being on the cusp of something so profound that it's hard to put it into words.
If you review our Declaration of Independence, it has those beautiful words about all men are created equal and governments are formed among men to represent the people. It was a good statement of what we were all about. And that's the only thing people remember about the Declaration of Independence, that it was about all men are created equal. But it's really roughly a 28-count indictment against King George. And therefore, because of the way in which the British Crown treated us, we now declare that we are a free country, and we want to let you know why. Now, if we're going to have a war, we're going to have a war.
In 1776, you have the Continental Congress meeting in Philadelphia, debating a unified position for the colonies with respect to the hostilities that have already broken out. And the fundamental issue between them is, are they fighting for their rights as Englishmen within the British Empire, or are they going to fight for independence? And they're seriously divided. People who are perfectly willing to resist the tyranny of the British government are not necessarily willing to strike for independence. But there's a groundswell in favor of it, I think, in large measure because they recognize that having provoked the lion this far, there's no going back.
All of a sudden you have this group of people who are going, no, we're not part of some great chain of being with the king at the top of it. We are free people. We can vote for who we want to have in charge. And we're not going to tolerate you telling us that we have some class status we have to be trapped in. It says, we are endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, meaning that Parliament in London, the King himself, the courts cannot interfere and take away your rights because the state can't take power from us. Even to this day, it's probably the most central difference between America and every other country in the world.
It goes well beyond what was needed in order to declare independence. It establishes a philosophical basis for a civil democracy in which all persons are guaranteed rights by virtue of their personhood.
This political genius, not just in Jefferson, but in Adams and all the other people who collected here, they saw a new time for humankind, which is that we can be free and that we can make decisions for ourselves.
I'm headed to the American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia to meet with its librarian, Patrick Spiro. He studies documents dating back to the time of the country's founding.
What you're looking at here is one of the first printings of the Declaration of Independence. The first section is the preamble.
Yeah.
And this is where they talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And the idea is that individuals should be free to do these things, and government is constituted to protect those freedoms. And what the king has done is broken that contract, broken that trust. And so they have to be freed from the king in order to be free to do what they want.
Now, can you say that this was the first time a group of people decided that they wanted to be free to do whatever the heck they wanted to do?
Well, I think it's the first time that it was ever written in an official way.
But this is not the only version of the Declaration of Independence that survives.
The other document that I want to show you is this, Thomas Jefferson's draft of the Declaration of Independence. And you can see on the side, there's these notes.
Yeah.
Once Congress got their hands on this, they started changing words, changing meanings. I think the most notable one is in that famous phrase that people are endowed with certain unalienable rights. Jefferson originally wrote inherent and inalienable rights. Inherent rights, which Jefferson used several times, means that all people are born with them.
With these rights. Okay, so if these rights are not inherent, then you're not necessarily born with them. Only a few people are born with them.
And that applied only to white society.
White male
society. Yes.
Okay, so there you have it. The inconsistency and perhaps the hypocrisy in the Declaration of Independence. These formidable truths, these timeless principles, were not extended to all Americans. Now, Thomas Jefferson, to his credit, a slave owner, did attempt to put the word inherent in the wording of the Declaration of Independence. He also put together, when he was drafting this document in 1776, a 168-word clause condemning the institution of slavery and blaming it on the British Empire and King George III. That was struck out by the Continental Congress in later drafts, and the word inherent, which means that all Americans inherent liberty, that was struck out also mainly by states like Georgia and South Carolina, because in order for the Declaration of Independence to be adopted, the southern states had to sign on to this. And the Patriots, the Founding Fathers, wanted to send a message to King George III that the American colonies were united, they were unanimous in this Declaration of Independence. So they, in order for the document to get unanimous support among the 56 delegates, they had to compromise. And politics is about the art of compromise. I hope you have a better understanding now of the history of the Declaration of Independence. We're going to conclude with a very inspiring song by a great performer and singer, Ray Charles. I get goosebumps every time I hear this song, America the Beautiful. He performed this rendition during Game 2 of the World Series in October of 2001, just a few weeks after the terrorist attacks on 9/11. Enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America with the singing of America the Beautiful, please welcome the man and his soul, Mr. Ray Charles.
Liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. What I'm saying about the land, this America, sweet America, may God I glorify. Ooh, when I was a little boy, I remember we always sang these words. Oh, beautiful, far spacious sky, far amber wings of grain, far purple mountain majesty. Now wait a minute. America, America. God, just grace on me. God, I love him for coming there. He cried like a, I don't you remember? Say me brotherhood. From sea to shining sea. You know, I wish I had y'all to help me sing this thing here. Go ahead. America. Oh, yes, he did. You ought to love him for it, 'cause he cried like good. He told me what, say me brotherhood from